All right, welcome back to part 6 of making a game. This is the
Can't
current
believe I
state of the
got
game.
flat. Guess I'll have to stay here tonight. Hello? Anybody here? Hello? Is somebody here? I'll put some money on the table. Can somebody check me in? I gotta get to sleep. I'll put some money on the table. I gotta get to sleep.
Okay, so this is what we have. Uh, when the puzzle's finished, obviously all of the TV's supposed to lift up. That doesn't happen yet, but that is the game. So, like a minute and a half of gameplay, I think. Get rid of this. Yeah, so I was playing with the VR template. And I gotta say, VR is really fun. Um, but I think I'm just gonna make a regular game for now because the VR, the biggest problem I have with VR is moving around. Just sucks. Like walking in VR is just not fun. And this whole game kind of would be about moving around the map. Um, so I'm not really sure how to do that where you sit down. You'd have to be in some sort of vehicle. I'm not really sure. But it was a ton of fun. I was playing around with it. That's annoying. Did I lose the texture? Oh. Why is it pitch black? I don't know. I really don't like you can see the lights through the walls. I think that's something I gotta figure out. Alrighty then, let's get right into it. So there's already a bug. When you ring the bell,
Hello?
triggers some voiceover, which is
Anybody
just me
here?
for now. Hopefully it won't just be me in the final release of the game.
Hello? Is somebody here? I'll put some money on the table. I gotta get to sleep.
So that final line, I'll put some money on the table. I gotta get to sleep. I just have a delay from the previous line, which gets triggered if. Trying to remember how I did this. So the problem is, it's that sound plays. As soon as the previous sound plays, it goes directly to true, and then starts this delay countdown to play the next sound. What would be better is if this sound is just set up to play when the previous sound ends. That way there's no chance that they overlap, and you get that weird, you don't want to overlap. It sounds like two people are talking. So the reason I had this is because I wanted, like, once you click it a certain amount of times, it always plays the last one.
Hello? Anybody here? Hello? Is somebody here? I'll put some money on the table. I gotta get to sleep. Can somebody check me in? I'll put some money on the table. I gotta get to sleep. I'll put some money on the table. I gotta get to sleep.
So that's kind of like, when you play a game and it's saying the same thing to you, that's kind of the hint. Okay, there's something else you're supposed to do now, right? So that's why I want it to repeat. Because if it keeps looping through the different versions, I think it might be confusing. It's like, oh, am I supposed to stand here and wait for somebody? So we add one to the sound index. We have boop-a-doo. We got sound list. Ooh. I gotta figure out how to hit this sound list. The key thing actually worked really easily, and it led me to figure out a new way to interact with objects. I actually, instead of the mess that is my first person blueprint, instead of this horrible mess, I am now using a blueprint interface, blueprint interface, yeah, which handles the interacting. So I got to do some updates there, because this bell is the old method of creating a unique line trace for each object we're interacting with, which is completely inefficient. Very, very inefficient. Okay, sound base. We have a sound list. It's an array of sound base object references. Oh, it's right here. Here we go. Default values. Okay.
Hello? Anybody here?
That's on 1.
Hello? Is somebody here? Can
Sound
somebody
2.
check me in?
And that's sound 3.
Can somebody check me in?
I suppose I could just add this one to the last one. So we go here, and I got to get to sleep. And I needed to set that as greater than as well. So now if it's set to I gotta get to sleep. When it's set to 2, actually when it's set to 3, then we want to set that to 3. So hopefully it will always continue to play the same sound.
Hello? Anybody here? Hello? Is somebody here? Can somebody check me in? I'll put some money on the table. I gotta get to sleep. I'll put some money on the table. I gotta get to sleep. I'll put some money on the table.
Good stuff.
I gotta get to sleep.
All right. So I want to make a little card that tells the player how much a room cost. I was working on putting locks on the doors too. Also been playing Amnesia the Bunker. Very good inspiration. It's really helping to shape my design of the game. I want to borrow some concepts that they use. One of the things that they do is the map is very small compared to their previous games, which is good because that means less development time, right? Because playing Soma, that was one of the things I realized was like, holy crap. It would take me probably a month just to design the first hour of map, just the map. Like just making the maps would probably have taken at least a month for me to do on my own. Okay. That'll work for now. Then we need to apply the rotation. Oop. Apply the rotation, apply the scale. And set the origin to the cursor. And it should be good to go. Let's name this material display. Now we should be able to come in here, import it. And should be able to just take our hotel, copy the location. Where'd it go? And paste it. And look at that. Uh-oh, the text. I believe the text is there. We might just have to change the material. It's going to be easier to just do that in Blender. We're going to select everything, and then we're going to deselect that. Cool. Try this again. Great. It worked this time? It did. All right. Cool. Finally figuring out how to import things from Blender to Unreal Engine pretty seamlessly. That was the biggest nightmare at the beginning. And then you need to have the player leave some money. This will be fine for now. And just make that one object. It's another gun. I didn't do. Need to do a couple things. Set the origin to the cursor. Apply the scale, apply the rotation. Now we should be good to export. That. Back here. Look at that. Starting to figure out how to get things back and forth. That was a hurdle. You've gotten over that hurdle. Okay. So we need to make this a blueprint. Call it money. And center that so it's centered in the blueprint. Good stuff. Now, before I forget, I'm going to delete this, replace it with the blueprint. I do that a lot. I forget that I never brought the blueprint into the world, and then I'll be trying to troubleshoot and be like, why isn't it working? Well, it's because the blueprint isn't even in the world. All right, so we want this to trigger when this triggers. So we're going to add a custom event, call it money on table. And we're going to trigger money on table. We don't want to say money on table. And we want this to happen after the branch. So we cast money on table. Uh-oh. Let's not do cast, let's get actor. And then we're going to come in here. So this has been called set visible. Set visibility. And the default visibility is going to be off. That's all it's going to do. It's just make it visible. So we're going to try that out. And I load it in the ceiling.
Hello? Hello? Anybody here? Is somebody here? Can somebody check me in? I'll put some money on the table. I gotta get to sleep.
Okay, so let's try it.
Hello?
We don't spam the bell.
Anybody here? Hello? Is somebody here? Can somebody check me in?
All right. We don't want the money to show up until three plays. So it plays the sound and it sets the sound index. Doesn't set the sound index until the sound has been played. So it starts out at 0. You hit the bell, it sets it to, it plays the sound, then it sets it to 1. You hit the bell again, plays the sound, sets it to 2. Then you hit it again, plays the sound, sets it to 3. And then when it sets it to 3, the money appears. But when it gets set to 3, the sound doesn't play yet. So the money appears before the dialogue appears. So to fix that, you're gonna add another branch. If the current sound index is greater than or equal to 3, set it to 3 and make the money visible. But we don't want this to play. We're going to turn that off. Play sound. I think I'm struggling. I don't know why. To brain this one out, I'm struggling. We don't want it to make the money appear until the dialogue has been set. Is there a way to know if the sound has been played? Like, is there like an on completion? ChatGPT, it is time for you to help. Playing a 2D sound. Audio component. Interesting. Audio. On audio finished. Very cool. So, on audio finished. Boom. Call to make the money visible. So, now we got to get this into our audio.
Hello? Anybody here?
Sound one, but I really need. Ah, set sound. Very cool. Audio component has a set sound function. Do set sound wave maybe? That's not it. Audio set sound. Sweet. So now we're just gonna do this. Awesome. Okay. On audio finished. And we're going to need a branch. And we're going to need to say, copy this. We don't want to add an additional, no. We're not setting the sound index. We're just going to get the sound index. Get the sound index. See if it's equal to 3. So the audio has to finish and the sound index has to be equal to or greater than 3 for it to go. I don't know if this will work. Let's see.
Hello? Anybody here?
Okay, why is that happening? Let's just do that and try again. Cool. So now we got nothing. That's worse than we were. Set sound. Oh, it sets the sound, but we never called to play it. Ha. Play. Not movie sequence editor. We need to now say play. And try to tidy this up a bit. It's a little nicer. Okay. Now we'll try that. That should work.
Hello? Anybody here? Hello? Is somebody here? Can somebody check me in?
As I feared. So it is waiting till the sound finishes and checking to see if the current sound index is 3. However, it is waiting till sound 2 in the index finishes, because sound 2 starts playing, we get set to sound 3, and then both of these, then when sound 2 finishes, then both of these are true, and then it puts the money on the table. So we need to not set the sound index until the sound is done playing. So we need to take this and do some rearranging here. So we don't want to set the sound index until it's done playing. The new problem might be we repeat the sound until it's done playing, and then we repeat the sound until it's done playing. Hopefully that's not what happens, but I don't know, so we'll see. I guess we'll just see what happens.
Hello? Anybody here? Hello? Is somebody here? Can somebody check me in?
Oh, God damn it.
I'll put some money on the table. I gotta get to sleep.